What is the civilian expeditionary workforce? How do teachers contribute to this critical program? We'll answer these questions and more coming up next in the chat room. Welcome to the chat room. I'm Frank O'Gara, your host today. Today, more than 4,000 civilian employees currently are deployed in support of operations Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. During the past school year, 5 DoDEA teachers were chosen to serve their nation through the civilian expeditionary workforce. The CEW was created in January 2009 to provide a deployable workforce trained and equipped to support military missions. Our guest today is Pamela Tucker, a DoDEA teacher from Misawa, Japan, who is currently serving as the Mobile Training Team Chief in Afghanistan, providing English language instruction to Afghan security forces and other military personnel across the country of Afghanistan. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you, Frank.
It's really a pleasure to have you here in the studio with us today.
The pleasure is all mine.
Well, thank you. And I understand that you are actually on R&R and that you have given your R&R up, so to speak, so that you can fly to Japan via Washington to attend the graduation of your students for the senior class of 2011. Is that true?
That's correct. That's correct. Stopping by here is a great pleasure. I wanted to get the DoDEA message out, and to see the students graduate is also awesome, and I didn't want to miss this experience. I have been with some of these students since they were 7th graders.
Wow, you followed them all along. Well, I'm sure they will be absolutely thrilled to see you, and we are all very, very proud of the dedication that you have, not only to the mission you're performing now in Afghanistan, but certainly to our kids and your kids back at Misawa. So
thank
you can give a big shout out to them from the show here.
I will.
Okay.
I'll give a big shout out to Eagles Nation from the show.
Great. Well, we got to know a lot about the Eagles Nation when we followed the earthquake, so it's quite a community, and I'm sure that they'll welcome you back with open arms.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I understand also that in addition to being a teacher, that you're a reservist.
I am.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I have been a member of the United States Army Reserve since 1999. I am a senior NCO, and I'm very proud of my service. Before this deployment, I've seen prior deployments, Iraq, more than one time, and then a couple of humanitarian missions.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service. And when did you come on board with DoDEA?
I came on board in DoDEA in 2004, directly after a tour in Iraq.
Oh, right. Tell me, Pam, when in your time so far in Afghanistan, have you felt strong support from DoDEA, from your colleagues, from the administration, and how about the support from your family as well?
Absolutely. I've been well supported on all forces. What I want to say about DoDEA, with the DoDEA being the parent command, Ms. Fitzgerald is well aware of all of my movements, and she tracks me to make sure that I'm safe and secure. But not only me, all of the mobile training team chief, whether they come to the mobile training team by way of DoDEA or through some other corridor. She's very supportive, as is a lot of members of the staff. Ms. Rita Tahar, Ms. Lenora Graham, Elaine, just the whole DoDEA family has really embraced this mission and has been rooting for us to succeed and giving us the support that we need from the rear, and we all appreciate that.
And I hadn't thought about it, but in a way, we are the rear detachment for you,
You
aren't
are. You're my parent command. And if I had one message to put out about DoDEA, it would be this. Not only are we a well-structured organization who's committed to educating the children of military personnel and DoD civilians, we furthered our commitment in that we are now committed to doing our part to ensure that all of our troops come home. And in order for that to happen, English language is critical. English as a second language, English being the global language, is critical to making Afghanistan a standalone country.
Now, we know what you do there as an English language instructor and also as the supervisor for the team. And I think you have 10 schools, is it, across Afghanistan?
About, and we have 10 schools currently operating and more on the horizon, to include a foreign language institute that is to mirror the United States Foreign Language Institute in Monterey. It is currently being developed, and our mobile training team is responsible, or will be responsible, for some of that mentoring and advising the English language in that Foreign Language Institute.
Tell me, how does the work there that you and your other DoDEA colleagues and others who make up the team, how does it impact the U.S. military mission there?
It is critical to the U.S. mission because English is the global language, especially for aviation. And one of the areas that's in need of buildup is the Afghan Air Force. And in order to create pilots, they need English language as well as logistics. So across the Afghan military force, to include the police force, English is needed. And English is the tool that we're going to use to equip Afghanistan to be a standalone country.
Now, I can imagine when you first went to Massawa with us that you thought you had many challenges there, but what about teaching in a war zone? There must be incredible challenges. What are they, and how do you meet these challenges?
First and foremost, you have to be able to live in a very austere environment. In addition to that, you have to learn how to carve out a sense of normalcy in a very abnormal surrounding. And those are the challenges, but the mission is so vast and it's so important that you don't have time to focus on what you have or not have. You focus on the mission, you stay mission focused and goal oriented, and you just move accordingly. It's very fast paced. A normal duty day is at a minimum 12 hours. For me, that duty day could go from 12 to as many as 18 hours, depending on where I am and if I'm traveling from the north or the south Afghanistan. And you have to be committed to the work, and there's a lot of work to do.
Now, you mentioned travel, and I'm sure that travel is dangerous there as well at times.
It is.
Can you talk a little bit about moving from school to school?
I can. The job requires me to move from school to schools. As I think we stated, the schools are spread across the country in Afghanistan. We take all safety precautions. If the intel should just suggest that there's no travel, then we will not make movement. But I feel fairly safe when I travel. I'm never traveling alone. There's always my commander, Lieutenant Colonel Reginald Williams, is always in the presence, as well as other military personnel who are armed. So I feel confident when I travel.
Absolutely. And I'm sure safety is number one for
it is.
In the mission.
Safety is first. It is first. And I feel when I travel, I don't think about the dangers. I have a ritual that I go through before every trip, and it starts with prayer and it ends with prayer. And then I go forward. I'm not bound by fear because I really believe in this mission. I think that it's very important. And as a uniformed service member, I know firsthand what it means to have our troops back home. So I'm trying to do my part to ensure that that happens soon.
Now, I'm sure that what you're doing, is not in many respects different from teaching students in Massawa. You still have planning, all of the elements that go into a lesson. Talk about that.
I do still have planning, but the big difference is I don't have all the teaching accessories that I have in Massawa. Massawa, I have technology at my fingertips. In Afghanistan, that is not the case, and oftentimes I have to resort to grassroots teaching. But I think that's good. I think it's good for a teacher to have to do it the old-fashioned, for less of a better term, way sometimes, because then you know that you're in full possession of your craft knowledge, and you have to prune these abilities. And I think having this experience will make me that much better with didactic instruction when I return to Massawa.
Oh, well said. And when will that be that you'll return to Massawa?
I will actually return to my classroom sometimes in mid-September, and I say mid-September because I start my travels out of country in August, and then there's a demobilization process that we all have to go through, and so that would put me back in the classroom at about mid-September.
Okay, so you'll miss a little bit of the school year,
beginning
of the school year.
I will, but I'm a methodical planner, and being a methodical planner and concerned about my students, I have already laid the groundwork for lesson plans and lesson videotapes, so I don't intend for them to miss a beat. We operate in Eagles Nation under a no excuses umbrella. We realize that excuses won't get us anywhere, so we do what we have to do to move forward. And so what I have to do is plan and videotape so that the students can have sound instruction to follow, and I'm already on that, and I've already been communicating with my students for the next year, and I've already started to communicate expectation. They've already started to communicate their expectations, so we are already building rapport. They understand, especially those in the AP class, they understand that I'll be away, but they still have a job to do. I have some expectations of them, they have some of me, and we're working on that.
Well, your dedication is absolutely admirable. Okay?
Thank you.
If you were recruiting, and I'm sure that you do a little bit of that as well, for future instructors and for DoDEA teachers who may want to serve in this program in Afghanistan, what kind of teachers are you looking for? What kind of skill set are you looking for?
Well, before I look to skill sets, I would be looking to characteristics, and I would be looking for those teachers who are flexible and able to multitask.
And why is the multitasking important?
In theater, you're in a command and controlled environment, and you're directed to do a lot of things at once. And the answer is, it can never be, I can't get it done. You have to figure out a way to get it done, so you need to be good at multitasking. And you need to be able to take a directive and carry on, not question it, but carry on. So I would be looking for flexibility, multitasking, and an overall calm and happy person.
Failure is not an option.
It is not an option. Okay. It is not an option. Failure is absolutely not an option. Can't is not in the vocabulary. This is very important, because even though we're the training mission, we're a small part of a larger mission, and we need to do well so that the whole mission can do well. And our troops and military, our troops and civilian personnel can return home and safely. Mm-hmm. And sooner rather than later. Surely.
Now, you had this year a group of 5 DoDEA folks who went over. What about for the coming school year? Are there more volunteers?
Yes, and I'm so excited about it. There are between 18 and 20 volunteers. I'm excited.
Wow, that's an incredible growth.
It is. I am so elated for them. I'm anxious for them to have this experience. I'm anxious to share my experience with them. As a matter of fact, I think my commander, again, Lieutenant Colonel Reginald Williams, and I will get to speak to the incoming personnel before they arrive in theater via video conference.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be helpful.
We're excited about that. I've already started to communicate with some of the teachers who have been identified, and they're already asking questions about how to survive in the environment, and I'm supplying them with the best answers that I can give. So I'm very excited, and I want to say that I think that this speaks volumes, just volumes, about the kind of organization DoDEA is. At the risk of sounding biased, we are absolutely awesome, if I have to say so myself.
Well, we certainly appreciate that, and we're not going to argue with you on that point at all, okay? That's true. Did you have the same opportunity before you went over to talk to people about what it was going to be like to have that interaction with somebody on the ground there?
I did not. Because when initially 9 months ago, we were novice at this. But what a difference 9 months to 12 months makes.
Well, I'm sure your leadership was instrumental as well.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. Well, I understand also that in addition to working with the police forces and the Afghan military, that you had an opportunity to start a program for some Afghan women in English language instruction.
Yes, these women are part of the Afghan military police. This is the first school of its kind. It stood up May 17th. We're very excited about this because this means progress. And this is my opinion, in order for any nation to succeed, its women must be empowered. And this is a step toward the empowerment of Afghan women. So again, these women are being taught English as an avenue to seek follow-on training in the United States or the UE for military policemen.
Wow, and was this something, what got you to start this special program for women?
It came to my commander, Colonel Williams, at the request of Brigadier General Safika. And General Safika is the highest ranking officer in the Afghan Army. As you know, very few females have an opportunity, so her status is a testament to her willpower, and it's a great achievement. The general receives desk side instructions from me.
Whoa.
And that's a pleasure for me. And we wanted to see this mission go further, and we wanted to see the women have an opportunity to learn as well.
And you seeing progress?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They are doing well.
That's great.
They're doing well thus far. So the school for the women is one to watch. I think it's going to grow.
Oh, we look forward to hearing more about it. Okay, Pam, if you had a chance to talk to DoDEA teachers, about considering this program, what advice would you give to them?
I would say, first and foremost, make it a family decision. Do not attempt to do this without the support of your family. And talk about it with your family and leave a solid family plan in place. And then talk about it with your administrators from your various schools and, get their feel for it, and so that you can make an informed decision. Don't be bound by fear, but understand that this is a significant task and it's an important mission. And when you make it to theater, follow the directives of the commands and just govern yourself accordingly, and then you will be successful. And I also want to reiterate that the DoDEA family is extremely supportive, so you will be supported.
That's great advice. Now, you as a teacher, all of us as teachers in the DoDEA system, we work with the deployment issues all the time, the family support issues. You're seeing that now from an entirely different perspective, the importance of family support.
Yes.
What lessons learned from that will you share with your colleagues back in Misawa when you go back to work?
I think that my message would be simple. Sometimes it's okay to let a student have a moment. Deployments are hard on families. I have a 16-year-old, and when you're 16, everything is a big deal. And you have to meet these big deals in the absence of your mother. That's hard. And so I like knowing that my colleagues back at Egrin will give my daughter a moment just to say, wow, my mother isn't here, and then get on with it. While I believe that students need a moment to digest or to readapt to their new sense of normalcy, as teachers, we shouldn't let them wallow in that moment, but we should let them have it.
I'm sure your perspective will be very helpful to all of our employees as we face continuing deployments and family separations over time. Pam, it's been our absolute pleasure to have you here today, where I'm humbled by your service, not only as a reservist, but for your choice to step up to the plate in our nation's calling to go to Afghanistan and to do this work. And I know that DoDEA employees around the globe join me in that. So I just want to thank you for your service. We salute you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
We missed you greatly. We'll welcome you warmly back into the classroom in September, as I know your students and your colleagues will as well.
I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to be back.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
To learn more about the civilian expeditionary workforce and how you can offer your services to our nation, visit the URL on the screen. Thank you for joining us in this edition of The Chat Room.